Hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on wherever you're in the world, tuned in at this time. And thanks very much for joining the session today. My name is Martin, and quick introduction. I am the AR VR business development leader for Lenovo. I'm based out of Hong Kong, and today I'm going to talk about AR and VR solutions that power the enterprise metaverse, right? So let's go. So the first thing I want to address today is that is metaverse just a hype, or is it something real, right? So off late, uh, this topic has garnered a lot of attention. It has gathered a lot of media, and there is, you would see a lot of mixed, opinions about it at the moment. So the first thing I wanted to address today is that is metaverse real, right? And let's look at some recent numbers, which I wanted to quote. And these numbers come from McKinsey, a recent research that McKinsey did. And it states that corporations and VCs and private equity investors have invested more than $120 billion just in the first 5 months of 2022. Large technology companies are the biggest investors at the moment. And if we have to draw some comparison, the investment in going in the space of metaverse is much greater than they were for artificial intelligence when it was at a similar stage in its evolution, right? And overall, McKinsey estimates a potential economic value of up to $5 trillion, by 2030, that this technology is going to create. So, all in all, I mean, if we just look at these numbers objectively, it is something big that's happening, right? And it's something big that's coming our way. The next thing I wanted to address is, really kind of tackle the bull by its horns, that what is exactly metaverse, right? So I won't go into, kind of much details, but try to simplify it as much as possible, right? And in very simple terms, it's a virtual immersive world where large number of people can gather to play, work, or socialize, right? So it's sort of an alternate digital reality where we are pretty much there if we look at our present lives, right? So we are hooked on our phones, on our different social platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And if we look at, the world of gaming, it's again sort of a virtual environment. But today, this environment exists on 2D screens, right? And these 2D screens can be our laptops, can be our PC desktops, or our mobile phones, right? So what is changing here, right? So overall, if we talk about this technology, and if I talk about this technology from a Lenovo perspective, that why are we as Lenovo looking at enterprise AR VR, and why now, right? So we see this technology as the next evolution of compute, right? So if we talk about some of the major technology revolutions in the world of compute, the first one was the evolution of computers, right? Where we had these huge standalone desktops, right? And they were connected through a local area network within an organization. And that was the birth of computers, right? And then we evolved to personal computers, etc. But they were still pretty much in local area network, local environment for corporations. And then the next major revolution happened with the Web 1.0, right, where we got the ability to transmit this data anywhere, right? We entire Web 1.0, 2.0, all of us got the ability to transmit data real time anywhere in the world, and that was the next major revolution in compute, right, where people were sending emails, they were exchanging real time informations, and that happened, right? The next major revolution that happened probably was the mobility revolution, right? Where now we got the ability to carry our data anywhere, right? Now we can carry this data in our laptops. We could just work from anywhere, and we could carry our data on our phones, and we can interact with this data real time, right? From anywhere using different technologies like 4G, etc. And the next big revolution in compute is going to happen when this data comes to life, right? Where instead of watching a 2D screen, be your laptop, PC, or your phone, you can interact with the data real time right in front of you, right? Where I can wear a glass. And once I wear this glass, I can see every contextual information that I need at a certain point in time right in front of me, right? I don't need to look at something else. So, and that's where the compute is headed, and that's where we as Lenovo see this technology as a major piece of technology and a major evolution in the world of compute, right? Um, Moving on, if we have to define the metaverse further, right? That what exactly are the components of the metaverse? And I'm quoting Gartner here, where the Gartner has tried to define the different elements of metaverse, be it digital currencies, be it the infrastructure needed to do it, and then the different aspects of metaverse from a consumption perspective, right? Where be it online shopping, be it social events, concerts, we talk about gaming, and then different pieces of technology which support all of these use cases. For example, be it NFTs, be it digital assets, emerging technologies like natural language processing, etc., etc. Right. Uh, if we talk about all of these, no matter what form the metaverse is going to take, and this definition and these components would keep on evolving, right? But one thing is pretty sure, that all of these use cases or all of these applications of the metaverse would be dependent on 3D worlds, right? They would be dependent on creating avatars and holograms, and creating those immersive experiences. So as the metaverse kind of evolves and it takes shapes, one thing is for sure is that extended and mixed reality will be the ultimate on ramp, right? Which would give people those immersive experiences that the metaverse promises today, right? And moving on in terms of the technology layers, right? So, what are the different layers of technology when it comes to the metaverse, right? So, um, if I can broadly kind of categorize these layers into two layers, right? So, one can be the content creation layer, and the second would be the content delivery layer, right? So, ultimately, it's all about consumption of content, right? In terms of content creation, largely we see this as two layers, right? Which is the creation layer and the application layer, right? Creation layer is where you create these immersive experiences, and who does that? These are done by artists and engineers, and even workers to that for that matter. And all of these content today would be specialized content, right? These would be 3D contents, immersive content, which would be a little different to the kind of content that we consume today, which is largely 2D, right? If we talk about the application layer, applications in the modern world, or in the world of metaverse, would be more 3D apps and tools, right? So these are the solutions and applications which give you what we call contextual compute, right? So once I wear my glass or any kind of wearable, I can access my information right in front of me, and this information can have 2D components in it. Like I can read a text, I can read a PDF document, I can read a Word document, while it can also be immersive content. For example, I can view a 3D model right in front of me, right? I can have a digital twin if I'm a worker and I'm working on a factory shop floor. I'm looking at a machine, and parallelly, I'm also looking at a digital twin, which is overlaid on the same machinery, right? And all of these would be enabled by these specialized applications, right? And then what lies beneath this, right? How are these contents delivered in the metaverse environment? For that, largely we have defined it into kind of three components. So one is the cloud layer, right, where it's similar to any kind of cloud application that we use today, where all of this information can be accessed real time through a device. It can be accessed over a Wi-Fi network, or it can be accessed over a 5G network, right? And cloud layer is the layer that delivers this immersive experience as real time anywhere, right? And ultimately enabling the network access to data that we are consuming. There's something new that's also brewing, which is the delivery layer, where we're talking about distributed computing, right? So this again is going to be critical in the development of metaverse overall. As we talk about delivering these experiences in a local network in a faster way. And you can imagine this in a way where if there is a large environment, it can be a factory, it can be an experience zone where you do not want to connect to the internet, but rather deliver the experience or a specific use case within the premise, right? And then you can use certain edge servers to achieve the same level of latencies and get that distributed compute environment, right, to deliver this content. And lastly, and one of the most important pieces of these are the devices, right? So with the advent of metaverse, we are talking about specialized devices where these wearables become our sort of a gateway to metaverse, right? So where we are talking about virtual reality devices, we are talking about augmented reality devices, mixed reality devices. And the idea is that you can just wear a glass and you can get whatever information you need right in front of you, right? And as Lenovo, what we are trying to do is innovate all these layers when it comes to metaverse, right? We want to be the leader in kind of innovating and giving people, our customers, all the technology components that they need to deliver these metaverse experiences, as well as to create these metaverse experiences at scale. And today I'm going to kind of focus specifically on the enterprise side of things, right? Because we believe that enterprise or commercial usage would be the first wave of adoption when it comes to the metaverse, right? And we are already seeing that at Lenovo. So we have been kind of working with different large enterprises across the globe on deploying these AR and VR solutions for almost last 3 years now. And we are seeing quite effective deployments, resulting in a lot of productivity improvement, efficiency improvement. And what are some of the most successful use cases that we are seeing today, right? And I want to quickly kind of talk about those as well. So one of the primary use cases of the metaverse today is in the world of training, right? Where what the metaverse or what an immersive environment helps us with is to kind of completely recreate the actual environment, right? And this is how the entire experience can be created and replicated, just like the real life environment, right? So what can happen is that if it's a classroom, or if it's an operating room, or if it's any kind of hazardous environment that people need to go to in real life situations, we can recreate those experiences in the metaverse, right? And what are the results for this, right? So I think one of the prominent stats that has come out is that VR trainings are 4 times faster than classroom trainings, right? And they're even 1.5 times faster than any kind of e-learning available today. And how does it help? It helps the enterprises to ramp up, their employees faster. It helps them reskill, or any kind of reskilling, skill development of the present employees at a much faster rate, right? And then whenever you create these trainings, they're very scalable, because you can reuse these assets as many times as you want, without the need of a physical space, or a real life instructor to conduct these trainings. But all we need to do is kind of load these trainings on a VR device and give it to people, and then they can get trained at their own pace, right? And in the most effective way, right? Where they really get immersed in almost lifelike scenarios, they will experience in like on the real job. And it kind of really helps them to kind of train in a much faster and effective way. The second major use case on the metaverse side is on the collaboration, right? Where metaverse, or the virtual environments, are becoming a medium for enhanced 3D collaboration. And we kind of really saw an uptick in the adoption of these virtual environments in the last couple of years. Of course, owing to different sort of lockdowns in every part of the world. And there was a constant need for people to kind of be connected, still deliver, whatever they need to deliver from a work perspective. And various digital technologies help people achieve that collaboration, right? But what metaverse does is it goes a little bit ahead, right? Where now what we are talking is sort of an immersive collaboration, where it's not just about looking or talking to somebody on a 2D screen, but actually interacting with them in a real physical 3D space, right? And that kind of really changes the game. We have seen a major uptick. We have got certain solutions which enable people doing that. And we have seen some real productivity improvements, when these solutions are implemented. And some of the things that people are looking at now, especially if we talk about the enterprise segment, is how they can kind of real time interact with a lot of 3D assets, right? So that's another major area that's sort of coming up. There's a lot of offerings that we do. There's a lot of technologies that we have enabled at the moment when it comes to kind of enabling virtual and kind of digital collaboration. And I'll kind of talk about, and I'll show you some examples later. One of the other major use case is what you'll hear a lot these days is digital twins, right? And what exactly is a digital twin? So a digital twin is a digital replica of a physical object, right? And this replica is to scale. It looks exactly like the real physical object, but it's digital, right? And what you can do is you can interact with this digital replica in a similar way, like you do with the physical object. And that's the major end goal, right, when we talk about digital twins in the immersive world. And how does it help, right, people? So you can imagine, if I give you an imaginary scenario, that I can wear my AR glasses and I can possibly be anywhere in the world. And once I wear my glasses, I can see and operate a factory equipment which is on a real-time factory shop floor somewhere, right? So what happens is that I can see the real life, digital twin of the exact same equipment, and I can interact with it. And as I interact with it, similar things happen on the real physical equipment somewhere on a factory shop floor, right? So this is like one of the examples, one of the possibilities. What are the other possibilities is that you can really optimize a lot of processes on a factory shop floor with these simulations. we can really monitor a lot of assets remotely, like I mentioned in the example, right? And then, of course, there's a huge construction angle to it when somebody's designing a factory shop floor. There's also, the angle where, you can get people trained on these equipments, right, anywhere in the world, or kind of even on the shop floor, where the digital replica is right in front of them, and there are different information popping up on how to use, different functionalities. So again, many use cases, and again, a major area, when it comes to the enterprise adoption of the metaverse. And lastly, it's going to be super important, like we see kind of a major uptick in the consumer gaming and social aspects of the metaverse, right? Um, and whether we like it or not, but the eventual, uh, you know, movement that we see in the market is where more and more consumers will buy and sell physical and virtual assets seamlessly in some sort of an immersive or a virtual environment, right? So, with that happening, I mean, all of us are seeing major brands kind of launching their different sorts of projects and campaigns in the metaverse. And they are seeing this as a way to innovate, right? Innovate in terms of customer experience, in terms of their brand experience, etc. And if we just look at these stats today of these digital campaigns that are happening, AR advertisements have almost a 4 times longer viewing time than any sort of video, right? In our 2D world. And if we talk about the conversion rate, it translates into a 2 time or a 2x, boost in conversions. And what we are talking about here is almost doubling the efficiency, right? I think which is huge for the entire industry, right? There are a lot of dependencies as well when it comes to the consumer gaming and social angle of the metaverse, where this technology is kind of very closely associated with blockchain and the crypto and the world of NFTs, and also the adoption of 3D, in different sort of marketing workflows. Um, One of the major kind of uptake that we will see in the adoption of the metaverse in the consumer side would be again with the advent of consumer augmented and virtual reality devices, right? So increasingly, I would say over the next 2 years, we would see a lot of immersive devices in the market, right? Where a lot of people would have access to these devices, where it becomes sort of a gateway for them to kind of really experience these virtual worlds in a much more convenient and effective way. And that's where we're going to see the uptick. But a lot of brands and a lot of major corporations are building up, and they're kind of really prepping up for this kind of major shift that's about to happen. So those were, some of the key use cases that we are seeing in the enterprise. But while I'm talking about it, I also wanted to touch upon that what are the challenges, right, when it comes to adoption of these AR, VR, and kind of extended reality technologies when it comes to a typical enterprise, right? So one of the biggest challenges, and I think it's kind of, again, coherent to any technology that's in early stages, is the fragmentation of the market, right? Where there's a huge amount of fragmentation when it comes to devices. We see many devices from different technology vendors. And again, most of these devices have certain sort of walled gardens, right? They're lock-ins when it comes to these devices, where if you use a specific device, then you'll also have to use an application or some sort of, you have to build an application on a development kit which can only work with that device, right? Which is kind of not very convenient for large enterprises. The second major challenge is the app deployment and provisioning, right? So you can imagine a global corporation where they have deployed these devices over 5 locations, different parts of the world. And now, how do you update these devices in real time, right? For example, if I have a software upgrade or some sort of a security patch, how do I run that patch simultaneously, over the next couple of hours across these 5 locations? That's another major challenge, and security is a major challenge when it comes to any sort of device that can have a gateway to an enterprise environment, right? Third major challenge is the cloud infrastructure, where different corporations choose different cloud vendors, and the application has to be portable across these cloud infrastructures, right? And also, certain enterprises don't want to host any sort of data in public cloud, right? So these applications have to gear up and they have to work seamlessly, even in a private cloud environment. Content management is another major topic and another major, I would say, yeah, challenge, because the content that we experience, or that we build or we create in the immersive world is different to our 2D content, and the same techniques and the same platforms do not apply, right? So here we are talking about 3D content, and we are talking about 3D content in a way where we do not need to consume it on a powerful personal computer or a desktop with a graphics card, etc., but on a very light mobile device, right? That how can even I access a 3D model on a mobile device, on a mobile processor, right? That's another challenge. And content management, once you create such 3D content, is again a different issue, right? It needs different kind of platforms to kind of manage this content. And lastly, we are talking about unusable devices, right? Where some of the most popular devices today, they're still pretty heavy. When we talk about the mixed reality or augmented reality devices, some of these devices can weigh up to half a kg, 500 grams. And this can be challenging, right? To kind of really wear these devices for an hour or a couple of hours can be difficult for a lot of people. So these are some of the challenges that we see in the market today when it comes to adoption of the metaverse, right? So, and what we are trying to do at Lenovo is to start, with the enterprise segment and solve these challenges one at a time, right? And I think we have over the last 3 years we have considerable we have seen success in actually solving most of these challenges, right? And what we offer today, for example, is broadly, an end-to-end solution for the enterprise, right? Where it comprises of software, we have got the right hardware, and any kind of service that an enterprise might want to deploy, these solutions, right? For example, in software, we have got our own software development kit. We are also partnering. We just announced our partnership with Qualcomm, where we have partnered with Qualcomm in the Snapdragon Spaces program, and Qualcomm has now got a software development kit which developers can use to develop their own AR, VR, and mixed reality applications, right? So that's on the SDK part. We have got our own cloud platform where people can manage a lot of devices, their applications, users, everything under one umbrella, right? And this platform is specially designed for the new world of AR and VR devices. We are also we have kind of provided the market with certain ready-to-use applications and turnkey applications. And what these applications enable is kind of people to really kind of start their AR and VR journey soon, right? Where enterprises can buy the hardware, they can deploy these applications, and they're ready to go, right? Very, very quick. These applications support some of the most popular use cases in the market today. And the time to any kind of return on investment is super fast, right? And then that's the intention of having these ready-to-use applications available for our customers. When it comes to hardware, I think we have kind of really innovated very hard here, right? And I'll talk about Think Reality A3, which I think most of the people, most of the experts in the market would agree is the greatest and the best augmented reality hardware available at the moment, right? And then what we have also done is that we have partnered with certain third-party hardware like Realware, Vario, where we want to give our customers, a wide range of choice when it comes to, selecting a hardware, right? So, and for that matter, even our cloud platform and even our applications, they are not, we are not building a wall garden around them, right? So we are keeping it very open, where our cloud platform, our applications talk to most of the popular AR or VR hardware out there, right? So even if somebody chooses to use our cloud platform and applications, and they don't want to use Lenovo devices, they're open to do so, right? So what we're trying to build is an open ecosystem where it kind of really helps in the adoption of AR, VR, and these immersive technologies for the enterprise. If I talk about verticals, that what are the different verticals who are adopting these immersive technologies? I think here I've picked up the most popular ones at the moment. So I think this technology is very suitable for manufacturing, right? Which is sort of a natural match, where it gives the ability, for different workers, be it the workers on the shop floor or people working on a machinery, to wear a device and be hands-free, right? So any kind of information they need is right in front of them while their hands are free to work, right? So and you can imagine any kind of manufacturing scenario, be it oil and gas, be it automobile, be it precision manufacturing like semiconductor manufacturing. All of these verticals are adopting the technology very fast, right? The second one, of course, auto and transportation. While it's sort of a subset of manufacturing, but it's sort of a vertical of its own as well, because this technology is so important, for the sector. Again, different auto companies are trying to, gain the productivity and efficiency improvements that the technology can offer. Super important for verticals like, architecture, engineering, and construction, retail, real estate, where these are the verticals that traditionally deal with a lot of 3D models, right? And they really have to go through the pain of building these 3D models on a 2D screen, while also experiencing these 3D models on a 2D screen. And again, the technology comes as a natural match, where now they can really interact with the 3D models they create, right? And a lot of them, while they can interact with these on a designing phase, we're also kind of implementing solutions where, while they're constructing something, how can they do faster quality checks, right, in a construction environment, and several other use cases, right? Healthcare is another vertical where this technology is kind of picking up very fast. And there are different sort of use cases where we are talking about training, especially for healthcare workers like nurses and paramedics. And these are the people who deal with kind of very stressful and real life situations where you cannot really train them on the job, right? Because it's too risky. And here again, virtual reality comes as a technology of choice, where they can quickly get trained in a real lifelike environment, but without any risk, of kind of affecting any patient life, right? So that's another major area. Education, this technology has kind of really picked up fast, and again, it kind of helps children and even university education, where students can really now interact with what they always used to see on a whiteboard or on a chalkboard, but they can really see and interact with the information, right? And you can imagine different ways that while we are talking about a concept in physics, or we are kind of teaching them biology, how they can now really interact with the human skeleton or body as it looks in real life, right? And get to know, different functions of it, right? So that's another major vertical. So I wanted to kind of quickly shift gears and kind of take some time to talk about, Think Reality A3. Uh, and this is where I mentioned that we are kind of really breaking barriers and innovating when it comes to the augmented reality hardware. And I think we were very excited when last year we got, mentioned by Time Magazine as one of the best inventions of 2021, right? And I'm going to quickly touch upon the use cases, right? That what exactly the Think Reality A3 is and what are the use cases it drives, right? So, first and foremost, one thing that we reimagined was work, right? So, we were talking about, 2 years back, an environment where everybody was at their home, right? And we still have to work, we still have to achieve the same level of productivity as we did in office. But how do you do that, right? So one thing we imagined was that um, why can't we just connect an augmented reality glass to a compute device like my laptop, and I can visualize my screens right in front of me, right? And not just one screen, but up to three, four, five screens, right? And that's where we enabled A3 with this, right? So where what you can do today is you can connect your A3 glasses to a virtual monitor, to a compute device, which is just your laptop or a desktop, and you can get up to five screens right in front of you. You can move them as you want it. Uh, you can keep them at any space. I mean, the entire 360 area around your head is your work area, and you can kind of choose to keep these screens as you want them, right? So very, very powerful, and it kind of opened up a lot of use cases for the enterprise where a lot of executives who were traveling and they still need that productivity of multiple monitors, they started using this technology. A lot of bankers, traders who kind of deal with a lot of screens, a lot of data, consulting firms, they started adopting to this technology. So that's one part of it. The other major part of it was the industrial adoption of this, right? Where we focused on two use cases, right? Which is the remote assistance and the guided workflows, right? Where how can we enable faster collaboration between people within an enterprise to solve a problem which can be very pressing, right? And you can imagine, for example, if there's a specific industrial machinery which is really critical, and the downtime of this machine can cost maybe thousands of dollars, every hour, and the person who can repair this machine is based in different part of the globe, right? Then how can we make that collaboration faster so that we can improve the uptime of these machines? And that's where remote assistance comes into play. And I will show you a quick video later which can help you imagine. It's kind of pretty simple to imagine, where the worker can wear the A3 glass and he can look at the machinery, while the expert can join from anywhere in the world, right, through a laptop, PC, or a mobile. Once the worker calls him using the glass, now the expert can see, through the cameras on the glass, the real live environment, and he can also share a lot of information with the worker, in the factory, in terms of a video or a PDF document, or even annotate in the field of view of the worker. For example, drawing a virtual circle over a screw or over a button and asking him to take a specific action, right? So it's a very, very advanced, form of video call, which really helps solve problems, way more quickly, right? The second part is what we call guided workflows, where what enables people is to get access to step-by-step instructions to solve a specific problem, right? For example, if I'm trying to learn to operate a machine, I can just go right in front of the machine, and the glasses automatically understand what machine it is, and it throws me, a specific menu, and I can choose to get trained on a specific topic, and now I get step-by-step instructions on how to operate the machine, right? And all this while my hands are free, where I'm actually operating on the machine. So again, a very, very powerful use case in the enterprise. So let's kind of quickly move on. So this is like the first video that will show you that how easy it is to use the virtual monitors that I spoke about, right? Where you just take the A3 glass, connect it to your PC, and you'll have your screens right in front of you.
Introducing the Think Reality A3, the most versatile enterprise smart glasses ever.
Right, so easy as that. And then kind of moving on to the digital workflows, right? That how do you kind of see these step-by-step instructions once you're in front of machinery or you're doing any kind of problem solving, right? So let's have a quick look at this one.
Think Reality certified solutions are revolutionary AR applications that enhance the way you work. Guided workflows allow you to perform complex tasks, reduce repair times, and eliminate errors with step-by-step instructions or instant access to product manuals, all while your hands are free to work. When the task is complete, simply notify your manager by submitting a report to the Think Reality platform. Optimize your workflow with Think Reality certified solutions.
Right, so that's an example of digital workflow, how you can get these step-by-step instructions right in front of you. And once you do your job, you can also click a picture, take a video for record, and kind of send it back as well to a centralized repository. And then this video talks about the remote assist, that how you can call an expert through the glass and solve any problem quickly.
Think Reality certified solutions are revolutionary AR applications that enhance the way you work. Remote Assistance connects you with experts anywhere to help you solve issues using innovative mixed reality tools. This smart technology eliminates downtime, saving your company money. Expert advice, anytime, anywhere. Optimize your workflow with Think Reality certified solutions.
Right, so that's the example of how you can kind of quickly call somebody. So, and kind of also talking about some real world examples, I wanted to quickly kind of take 1 minute to take you guys through the at how some of the largest enterprises are deriving value out of these technologies and implementing them at global scale, right? So one of the examples is Micron Semiconductors, right? So again, I think most of us know Micron. It's almost like a $30 billion US enterprise dealing into semiconductor manufacturing, right? And how they're using, they're using both the technologies that I just showed you, that having the AR-enabled workflows where it helps certain, lower skilled employees to kind of quickly get upskilled, through these step-by-step instructions. They're also looking at remote assistance where, anybody can call an engineer anywhere in the world, and it kind of really helps them improve the uptime and productivity of their machineries, right? So what it has resulted in a very short period of time is, increase in productivity and machine downtime, faster employee ramp up, and of course, remote employee collaborations in a much better way than what they had before, right? So this is a major success for them, and they're just building on this. So all this while, while I was talking about A3 and mostly the augmented reality, quickly touching upon virtual reality, right? So in terms of VR, we have another headset, and this is again an enterprise-only headset, which is the Mirage VR S3. And what we are kind of targeting in terms of use cases and the adoption that we are seeing in the market today, like I mentioned, is on the training side of things, right? Where be it HR training, be it safety training, sales training, VR is becoming the go-to device, and And I would say that VR training actually has gone mainstream, right, when it comes to enterprise trainings. And it's almost adopted by all major corporations in some way or the other, or they have experimenting, or they are experimenting it, with it in some way or the other. And there's no doubt that the kind of benefits and value the technology offers, uh, it's here to stay, right? When it comes to any sort of enterprise training, and increasingly, we will see adoption into a lot of newer areas as well. For example, employee onboarding, right, where certain corporations now onboard their employees on VR, right? Again, a major kind of adoption on the training side of things. And I wanted to kind of quickly show you a video of how we are enabling this in the enterprise through our solutions. So that's how kind of VR is helping enterprises in kind of really upskilling, training their workers. And what we have done with the Think Reality Uptail platform is that we have given now people the ability to create their own trainings, right? So where earlier what used to happen is that to develop a VR content, you have to engage with some sort of an agency, run it as a project, and every time you have to develop a new content, you have to do the same exercise over and over again, right? But what we have done is that we have made this 100% do-it-yourself exercise, right? Where just like kind of creating any content today on your PC, you can create your own VR trainings as well, and that kind of really makes the adoption, and kind of scaling up the adoption of these VR training in enterprise way faster, right? And once you kind of do it in terms of the KPIs and the results and the value these technologies drive is just amazing, right? Which you see right here on the screen. So that was pretty much it from my side. I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and I hope it was valuable for you.